Getting close to the end of this series, which is pretty sad, but again, we are getting close to it. So the rise of dangerous ideologies continues, including communism and fascism. Some, communism, the fascism has roles in these countries over here. Communism has basically evolved here in one Chinese state here, and we're going to be continuing to see the rise of it. First is the fall of the Gaussian Empire. It is one of the last land empires that exists. Gaza is gonna have a massive fall. Okay. The king has two sons. One is a communist son and one is a fascist son. Okay. The fascist son and the communist son basically divide themselves into two governments. One is over here and one is over here. And basically, the country is so divided that, because democracy is not very popular yet. Most of the world has not really done that. But this is the downfall of Gaza. The fastest son starts to move into the communist territory. However, the two fastest countries, Fly and Warpy, and the communist country support each other. So, Equal and Sifor, Safiz, SR will continue to support this. However, the African colony wants to break away. And they don't want to be a part of this. They want their own self-determination. So they declare their independence as well. Including another state that we haven't seen for a while, which is Popy. Yes, Popy is one of the oldest countries in the world as well. And we usually use orange for them. We use a different color of orange. And they will also declare their independence. As well as Pannoni, which is another occupied territory. As well, they will declare their independence. And the communists, block off the fascists here. And the country's gonna collapse even further as well. You're gonna have several more countries break away and declare their independence. You have Twinget declare their independent. This area here declare their independence as well. And this is getting pretty bad for the Pannone Empire. Okay. Nova also joins in the war to take their land back. And basically, it's like this timeline's Russian Civil War. Okay. Nova starts to take some land, and Yami also declares war to take some land as well. The fascists, however, are now fighting the rebellion over here. They quickly march into this rebellion wasn't very well armed, so they simply march into the rebellion and take it over and defeat it relatively quickly here. And basically, the government starts to push the fascist government starts to push its way towards the communist government. Meanwhile, the communist government kicks them off again. And yeah, this is the end of Gaza as a country. The fastest Gaza gets its own country. The African country gains its independence. But again, this country was kind of being kept very loosely. It was a very hard area to keep here, and Popey also is now an independent state. And Benoni is an independent country again. Yemen does get out of the Arabian Peninsula, and Nova gains the lands back they lost in the war. Meanwhile, Tamara finally gets sea access finally. For helping the communist government because they didn't have any sea access. And the name Gaza will be put out of use now, as this was an imperial country. So we have Benoni. We have Nilta, which is the first son, and they really named the countries after themselves. Twin sons. The original capital will be here. Popey's capital will be around here. Benoni's capital will be on the coast, and this large African country here. This is this large African colony. Well, now they're an independent nation. Again, this was agreed treaty that Gaza would control this area, but now this area is now an independent state. Their capital will be. They want to ideally put the capital in a more safer area, so they actually put it down here by Ezia, which is has existed basically since the beginning of time. And the country name will be Bamako. That will be the country's name. And yeah, that's basically half of the episode was the fall and rise of the fascist and the communist government. The communist government will align itself with basically the Comintern as well. So the communist government will align itself with the Comintern as well. And more colonies in America declare to become independent. So we have this Japanese country, they become independent. They actually become two separate states. Here, so this is the first state, and this is the second more powerful state. There will be a red color. Valima and Toza are now two independent countries. Toza will be capital will be here, and Valmir will be in San Francisco. That will be the capital city. as well. And they already open up, relations with Carissa. There are also democratic states like Carissa, so all three countries start to have very good relations as well. You know. Meanwhile, as Garcia is now falling into civil disorder, which will cause this colony to gain. They'll basically give this colony independence. Yeah, they'll give this colony gradual independence, like Australia did in our timeline and real life Canada. They'll hold on to this useless part of the country, but this is the first area to really granting independence. And Turinza will become an independent state. Actually, sounds too similar to another country, so. Nausea. This is. The capital will be right here. And they're just bordering Busan. That's the only country they border. However, Busan and Nausea are not very kind to each other. Busan is a warpy colony, and they don't like the fact that their brethren is still controlled and occupied by them. So these countries are going to have a lot of tensions in the next couple of episodes. Another independence is this country in South America. This is this colony right here, the Gaussian colony. They don't know what to do now. They have no idea what to do because they are now the country collapsed. But actually, the daughter, which the king was never allowed to become the leader, basically puts two together and creates Gaza down here. The capital will be here, and basically, it's gonna be like the UK. They're gonna have a king or queen, but it's only gonna be for ceremonial purposes. They're gonna have a prime minister, which actually does most of the work for the country, as well. So. And also the Phyllis. Also, this colony will finally gain its independence here, as well as Australian colony, which is a Indian colony, Indian country here, and its name will be named Vita, and its capital will be all the way over here. These countries are really poor because they're very isolated from the rest of the world. But Australia is mostly now independent. There's 2 colonies still left in Australia, which is a Naski County, Naski area, and Dulce has a small county. And Dulce is gonna unite the colony with Neocontinental, which leaves just the colony of Naski as well. Meanwhile, the Viyate colony votes to leave. They have a referendum on this. They vote to leave, and the country will be called Spice. Here, because it's called the Spice Islands. That's what they refer to the colony as, so that's the country's name. And there was a lot of decolonization in this episode. But now let's go to the more tensions part of the world. Warpy wants to invade and take back the land, obviously. So they declare war on this Irish nation. Here, and they start to basically take back the land very quickly. Here, and declaring themselves an empire. Yeah. However, they had to remilitarize first. So they take back basically the British Isles, and now they want to take Ireland because Ireland has never been under their control. So they have to invade Ireland, and they take out the capital, and the country surrenders very, very quickly. Yeah, the country surrenders very, very quickly, and is defeated very, very quickly as well. And the Warpy Empire now sets its sights on defeating Asgarcia. That's the whole goal. Taking them out. Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile, more conflicts in the Balkans begins as Dratavia, and Cali and Svea do not like each other. These three countries have always been at odds, especially since Cali and Svea's independence, because Svea is former territory of Dratavia. Dratavia lost this land to Svea. So, they're going to do what the most obvious thing to do is just invade it. They invade it, and this country is far weaker than Dratavia. Dratavia takes out Svea, and they are defeated, basically. Yeah, giving Dratavia basically, making them like a Yugoslavia, okay? They're also at war with Cali, and they take like the southern portion of the country, yeah. At the end of the war, Cali loses this land here. Meanwhile, a revolution in Pentanovan takes place. These are the people who want to establish a Neo-Pentanovan empire. However, unlike the revolution in Warpy and Fly, they fail, and Pentanovan still stays its own country, basically here. Meanwhile, nothing has been done about this border war, because this has been some of the worst border war on the map. Nova decides to finally let go of this colony here. Yeah, as Nova has been overextending itself. Okay, this land is not very useful to them. It's mostly like desert land. So they just sell it to these two countries here, where they'll more be happy to take it. Also, Boxo and Ajax. Boxo and Ajax, they don't know what to do with this area here. So they finally decided, you know what, we will give it its own country. So there's a new country over here now. So the border war here is finally solved. Halfon is an independent country now. So, and this is the next country to adopt a democracy. These are one of the most powerful countries in the world. They actually decided to declare war on one of the neighbors. They finally decided to get rid of this country here. This country has been, I don't even know what this country is called, but this country is, they don't want Gratavia, whoever this country is, to rise up again and defeat them. Most of the Gratavia people have been assimilated anyways, as well, which gives them a large border of Viate, which Viate does not like this. Order Safiz Esau declares war on the Farmers Union, which is now the Rizi, and they take out Rizi very quickly. And they also declare war on this country to take it out very quickly. As well, basically creating a southern China state here. Meanwhile, these countries do not like Kanto, so they form an alliance with Japan to basically protect them. Sunni and Susan unite into one country. This was a long time coming as both of the emperors wanted a united island. So, unlike what the other country is doing, Japan is uniting peacefully. It's still Miku, where it's they don't want this country does not like Miku at all. Miku isn't. This country is Sunni has like a parliament and stuff, and Miku is still an authoritative autocracy that is very unstable. Okay, this country up here, Miku, is very unstable because it's an authoritarian, you know, oligarchy basically, autocracy. Okay, but there's a lot of them still left, especially in Central Asia and the Balkans. But as Garcia finally says, you know what, we will become democratic, and that makes them the first truly democratic country in Europe. And they basically vote in the first prime minister, because of course it could be like the one country where they're still going to have a king and a queen, but they're going to have it where people vote in a prime minister. Meanwhile, Fry is going to take back the former lands. They take out this country relatively quickly, and Fry is now had the old borders of Asgarcia again. This causes Asgarcia to be very worried because Fry is now taking a lot of land. Okay, the worry that they might go this way and invade these countries this way, which causes this country and the Alpine countries, as one of the oldest countries in Europe, to basically form an alliance. Fusaka does not declines, and Yasia is the second most powerful country in Europe. They don't need any friends, so yeah. Gaza is really the only country in South America, kind of like because they had to become a country. However, these Caribbean countries, I actually do not know who owns these countries. I think it's this Indian state Torment. They own this. So I mean the Indies is owned by an Indian country, so. And who owns this Florida? I think it's Caesar. They own Florida. However, a lot of these colonies are starting to become unsustainable. For example, Salmi's colony, they are now an independent country. Because this colony is very unsustainable. And that's gonna be why a lot of these countries gained their independence, because these colonies are very unstable. They're unsustainable for the country's economy, so they become an independent country. And now we have this area here. And this is one of the big colonies here. This is the Fusaka colony, and however, Fusaka doesn't want to let go of this colony as of now, and this colony doesn't really want independence either. Okay, most of the people live in really like the New York area. Most people don't live in the inland, besides around the Great Lakes. And that is the update. We might actually have one more episode before the big war happens, which is the next World War. And yeah. Things are definitely heating up and becoming more tensioned. 100%. Goodbye.